First of all, would you like to introduce yourselves and tell everyone where we are at the moment? Do you want to go first, Shaun?
Yeah, so I'm Shaun Patterson. I'm one of the youth leads for Culture Community, and we're a local organisation that support young people. It's more like peer-to-peer sessions for people to come and have a relaxed environment to learn, to have fun, to, as the name suggests, build a bit of a community. So right now we're sat in Honey Hill over in Patterson and Peterborough, which is where we have a lot of our sessions. They typically run every other Saturday during term time for the morning, so it's between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we'll do extracurricular sessions, whether it's cinema nights or sports days or talent contests that we have in December.
Okay.
That will fall outside of that normal cadence where people are invited along. So yeah, that's where we are.
Great. And
I'm Sian. I'm also a youth lead, and I obviously attend all the Saturday sessions. Do all of the. I'm the youth lead, but I also do the school engagements with the carnival. I'm the one that coordinates all of the getting the schools on board and preparing them for carnival.
shall we start there? The carnival is on, I do have it written, August 29th. Yeah. How's it going? What's going to be the format? Give me the whole...
So far, we've done lots of prep.
Yep.
Like I said, we've been got two schools on board now. And we went in, we did some workshops with the children, 2-day workshops. We had a fashion designer come in. They kind of gave them a brief as to what the outfits are going to look like. I won't spoil it too much, but they're amazing. Mm-hmm. And all of the children, whilst they had a brief, they kind of made it their own. All of the designs are quite unique to them. They've chosen their own colours, or some of them have kind of twinned up, paired together. Really impressed with some of the boys that we've got. So obviously, yeah, we've done that. We've got another workshop coming up just before the actual carnival itself, just to finish off. The designer's just going to kind of do a final tweaks. Mm-hmm. Us as the culture community, we've kind of got our own little outfits going on as well, so we'll be all dressed up. And then it's just been a case of getting all of the vendors on board, make sure they're booked in for the day, and then obviously music as well. We've got music.
Yeah.
We've got lots of people coming, so it's been very, very busy. And yeah, it'll be worth it once obviously the day comes.
It gets a bit like, doesn't it? It gets hectic in the lead up. So I actually didn't mention, but I'm looking after the acts, which is the fun part, which is cool. Yeah, or one of the fun parts. So it's like coordinating DJs on the day, and some of the performers, and we've got a really strong lineup this year. It's our second year doing the carnival. So last year was the first time that there'd been a carnival in Peterborough for 40 years. So because of the success and the scale of it, we were like, yeah, we need to try and keep the momentum going and do it again. So you would expect there to be some kind of learnings from last year that we've taken into this year, and one of them's the performers. We've got some good people in the lineup. I won't try and sing the song because I just wouldn't do it justice. But no, we've got Blue James from Basement Jacks, so she'll be performing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is exclusive. We're letting you know first. Yeah. So she'll be performing on the day. We've got a range of dancers, percussion instruments that people will be playing, and then we've got our own culture community children who will be coming up. So the whole project is based around children and giving them an outlet. Carnival's an expression of that. So yeah, we're glad that they're going to have an opportunity to perform as well on the day.
So going back a year, why did you decide to bring it back? What was the impetus for it to be brought back?
I think what Precious said before, obviously a lot of our parents experience carnival. We'd hear stories about carnival, but we've never really experienced it within our hometown. I don't know about you, but I know I went to carnival outside of Peterborough, Nottingham, Derby, Luton, everywhere. And I never experienced it here. And I think Precious was the same. She'd hear stories from parents about what it was like when it was in Peterborough. And then obviously we'd experience herself outside of Peterborough. And she thought, well, why haven't we got a carnival? And it was kind of, no, we're gonna bring it here. And that's basically what she's done.
Why did it ever finish then, I wonder?
That's the thing, I don't know. Yeah. I think the Caribbean community's got quite a storied history in Peterborough, and sometimes, from my perspective, can be a little bit fragmented, which is why this is so necessary. I mean, it's not completely controlled by, but it's inspired by Caribbean Carnival. So that community has to really be strong enough to support it and inspire and motivate it. So I think that's where the gap's been, personally.
I think probably back then, it was quite concentrated, the community within like the Crom area.
Right.
And then I suppose naturally people move outwards, and then the community kind of
And then it sort of spreads,
so then that
dissipates almost.
100%. So yeah, I suppose that community spirit, that community feel, they had their hub within the Crom area, that's kind of gone. So then it's just everyone's doing their own thing, really.
And it's something obviously that you feel is needed in Peterborough, because so many other communities have their own events, festivals. Yeah. So you brought it back. I presume the fact that you're bringing it back for the second year means it went well last year. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, I think
we did feedback forms, didn't we? We really keen to hear feedback from the vendors, from people that attended, both negative, both constructive and positive, because we want to make it bigger and better. And we had really, really good feedback. Quite overwhelmed by how good a feedback that we actually got for it being our first event. And then we thought, well, it was bigger and better for this year.
I think a lot of the critiques were like, "Oh, it could have gone on a bit longer,"
yeah.
And it was exactly stuff where it's like, actually, we could do this, we could do more of this. And
I think
the parade, a bit longer with the parade, and we've responded to a lot of these learnings again that people have offered up. But I think one of the things that was surprising to me is people just assumed, "Oh, when you do it next year." And we'd not even decided that at some point. We were like, so when you do it again next year, we were like...
So it's literally become an annual event on the first time then, basically.
Almost. Yeah, but I think that has always been the desire, right? That had been the hope. We didn't want to put all this effort, and it takes so much time to get it to this point. You lose momentum if you don't say, "Oh, let's do it again next year." So even before, when we did last year, it was like, right, if this goes well, which I'm sure it'll go well, we'll do it again. We'll go again. But yeah, it's like the comparison would be, I don't know, if you have like a huge gym session, you're not thinking about your next gym session as soon as you finish. You're thinking, right, I just need a break. And then, so I think after, we needed a week to decompress before we even could look at it again. But as soon as we started getting feedback, it's like, we kind of have to.
It was a long day, wasn't it? Because I think some of us, we'd started from like 8 in the morning to get everything set up, and then we didn't leave until 9, 10. I
think that day, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get back into bed until 2 o'clock at night or something like that. That was a long, but it was worth it, and it was that well. Like, I would do it again.
Buzzing on the adrenaline, weren't you, of it all?
Yeah, but I think there is a lot of, because we hadn't done an event on that scale and the nature of the event, as you did with so many different people, there's lots of different elements to it. You don't know what you don't know until you've done it, and then thought, oh, actually, next year we'll do it a bit better this way. This will streamline things. It'll make it easier for the vendors or the volunteers, whoever is involved. So,
how is it all funded? How does it work? Is it volunteers or is it charity? How does it all work in that regard?
So we've applied for some arts funding that we were gracious enough to get last year, and applied for it again this year. So it's funded predominantly that way. There is some supporting funding, but that's where the bulk of it comes from. Yeah.
And I assume from what you said, the children were pretty enthusiastic last year as well. And they always are, aren't they, with these sort of things? I guess a lot of the time with these sort of events as well, they just want to get out there and express themselves. And particularly after COVID, some of them will have been through that as well. I mean, let's go with that, actually. You guys must have seen some really terrible things at that time of people, young people and parents being pretty concerned about what was going on. What are your sort of recollections of that time?
Gosh, I remember there was the get-together in Cathedral Square. Remember that being quite... probably the first time I maybe realised that Peterborough had that community and they maybe really cared about what was going on at that time. But yeah, I don't... I don't know.
Yeah. I do know. I was talking about this with a family member the other day, and COVID seems like such a fever dream because of how long ago it was. But it had such a major impact in terms of working from home, and definitely on younger people. That's such a big chunk of their life. Culture Community was actually birthed when COVID was happening. Yes. So the first sessions were actually done online. At that point, I wasn't even living in Peterborough. I'm from...
Neither of you were here.
I wasn't involved. I only got involved after the basically from the carnival onwards. Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I was living in Wales at the time. I'd moved away from Peterborough. I'd been away for at that point 11 years, and then moved back for family reasons, and got involved in Culture Community off the back of that. But again, my motivation was my children had come back to the city. They'd not grown up in Peterborough. I wanted them to be able to plug in to a local community, because there's so many people, I'm sure you get this, walking around the city and I know your dad. That was like the clash. I know your dad, I know your mum, and I didn't want my children to have that happen to them and have no idea of who they're talking to. So yeah, in terms of then the wider impact, I know it's given them an opportunity to get involved, in their community, but express themselves, which is something that you can kind of take for granted. I know I did. I'd look back and be like, oh, I had an opportunity to get involved in arts and crafts or go on residentials, and I took it for granted. I don't think a lot of this generation have had those opportunities, so it just opens it up for them to do it. The children, the school children who were involved last year, there was a small segment that was filmed and put on, I think it was Look East. There was a segment that went on the local news after the carnival. Some of the young people were interviewed there, and they said that we've just never experienced anything like this. We can take it for granted. You've been to Luton, but I went to Bristol Carnival, went to Notting Hill Carnival growing up, and it's carnival. But for them, they've never experienced it. It's a different world without over-egging it. I think it's just something so out of their norm that hopefully it had a real impact on them.
Yeah. Well, it's a positive thing for the city, certainly.
Yeah.
I think nowadays so many people communicate online in so many streams, through work, just children's friendships, relationships are online. Being able to do something where it's in person, even the workshops, getting them to speak to one another, their creativity in a social setting rather than online, I just think it's been amazing for them.
On that, and you will have, obviously, with the Saturday mornings that you have here, do you see children who struggle to actually communicate face to face sometimes because they're so used to being plugged into the matrix here? I mean, you must.
Yeah, I probably would say more the older ones when we've maybe done the older youth sessions.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of our older youth sessions that we did, we kind of had a 12-week program for the older youth. We tried to make our sessions really interactive as possible to kind of stop that, so that they weren't plugged into their phone, they were doing things. So I think we had a barber come, taught the children how to kind of barber. We had a hairdresser teaching them to braid. So again, it forced them to actually do something rather than be on their phones. We had a self-defense class, somebody come in and teaching them self-defense. We had a cooking workshop. I'm trying to think what else we had.
From local authorities came in as well, right?
Yeah, we had a police officer come in as well, just to talk about knife crime and just kind of current issues within the city. And that was kind of a Q&A. So again, it's very interactive with them talking, asking questions, police officers speaking to them.
That was quite a relevant time as well, when the police officer came in. That was after there'd been an incident in Peterborough where a young man had lost his life as well. So as you say, try and keep it current, try and make sure that it's relevant to young people, because that's the thing that I think 90% of teachers will tell you in school. If you don't make it fun and engaging, you've not got a chance. Even if it is fun and engaging, they could still be like, well, I'm forced to be here, I don't want to do it. So I think that's something that we're really privileged to have as young people that want to turn up, because they don't have to be here. And
I think we found as the 12 weeks went on, we had more and more children sign up. And on the very last one, it was kind of like not a soft play, but kind of that sort of vibe with climbing walls and everything. They said this was the best one and they didn't want it to end. And obviously, unfortunately, due to funding, it had to end. But we just noticed more and more children signing up. So it definitely shows that that's what's needed, and then they do need those provisions in place so that they've got something to do other than hanging on the streets, being on their phone, on the devices, stuck in their rooms.
Do you think it's more difficult being a young person now than when you were a child, that age?
100%.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
So I was having this conversation with somebody recently, and I was at home, my little boy's 4, and a little boy knocked on the door and he's about 6, and he said, oh, can you come out and play? And it honestly melted me, because I thought, that's what I had when I was a kid. Oh, can you come out and play, please? And that's what it was. And I was like, yeah, of course he can. And I just stayed out the front. And I was like, this is what it should be. My childhood was playing out all day. My mum didn't know where I was, like, she didn't care, but it just was a different vibe. You were kind of out all day, bike rides, going from Bretton to Dogsthorpe or wherever. And you were just out all day, keeping fit, being with your mates, making friends from different areas. Fresh air, yeah.
Just messing around.
Yeah, and I think I was on the cusp of when we got the internet. So it was the dial-up era, where it was too effort too much effort to basically
Picked up the phone, you get cut off.
Yeah, or like, you know,
It took 5 minutes to get through to it, and there was that sound.
Got a picture loading up.
yeah.
It's loading.
Or like you spoke to your mates, but you can only be on there for an hour, or your mum would say, no, get off the phone because I want to speak to my mate.
Yeah.
So you had to go out and see your friends. Whereas now I think everything's so more accessible on your phone that it just forces kids to they just communicate online, and gaming and all of that. There's so many things that just lock children into their homes, and just they're like that. They just don't see what's around them.
No.
And obviously there's pros and cons to, you know, phones, social media, but I just think we need to go back to kind of just having that face-to-face social interaction.
And I can say it now, our ex-Prime Minister wanted to, I mean, whether Burnham will go ahead with the social media ban for under 16s, we don't know, but Shaun, sorry, you were going to...
No, I think one thing that I see is that the facilities at least were there. So I grew up in Alton, where you used to have the youth club, the Tunnel, and that was there whether you wanted it or not, or whether the government thought it was necessary or not, it was always there. So I think it should be like any other good public facility. You don't say, oh, we're going to take the toilets away because people aren't using them enough. No, they need to be there for when people need them. And it's the same for any other kind of youth engagement activity. You kind of have to build it for them to come. And just because they've not come one week, I mean, we've had weeks here, which you don't shout about, where we've had, you know, a handful of children turn up, but you still need to be there for the weeks where you have 25, 30 children turn up. It's that consistency that allows them to feel like, oh, well, even if I don't go this week, it doesn't mean, oh, you're bad, so we're taking it away. You know, we don't want them scared to be able to go and play football or do other stuff, because otherwise, oh no, it's not going to exist anymore. And I think we've shown that over the past 5 years now, 5+ years, that we've been consistent. And I think that's what's really important. Same as any other kind of dynamic with young people, you need to show that you're consistent and you're there. So I think it is difficult, but I'm an optimist, so I'd like to think it's getting better. I'd like to think our generation are kind of coming into our creative freedom and power to be able to say, actually, this is what we want to build for our young people, make sure they've got an opportunity. So, yeah.
You know, you said about the tunnel, I think everywhere had it, the spinny,
Yeah.
all different names, you remember them, and they were just drop-in sessions where you could just go, the volunteers would be there all day, there was that funding there, where they could just drop in for an hour, go out to the park, come back and do something else. It was just always available, wasn't it? Especially during the summer holidays.
And you've mentioned there the actual physical things that young people can do. There is also the mental benefits of those as well, of speaking to people in the flesh, as opposed to this thing and being in your bedroom, which just breeds, as far as I can see, anxiety and mental health issues. I mean, you must also see sometimes young people who are very withdrawn, I would imagine, do you? You must...
They struggle to just have a conversation with people and know what to say, and that can be through friendships, relationships as they're getting older. They just don't know how to. They can be who they want on a phone because there's no judgment. It doesn't teach you that resilience, and you might get rejected, or somebody might not like you because you can be who you want on a device.
Well, that's life.
That's life, and again, it sets them up for life skills when they go out into the world. They've got a job, and we definitely see that where I would say maybe some children nowadays aren't as confident to just speak about on basic things. I think.
Yeah, I've seen the world of difference in particular with my children, because they were living before they came back to the UK. They were living somewhere really remote, which was amazing for them, amazing opportunity for them, definitely. And I'm sure there were benefits I don't even know about that they got from that time out there. But coming back and engaging with the local community, I can see my son has definitely gone from strength. And my daughter's always been a bit of a social butterfly, so not worried about her in that sense. But for him, even like he's just about to go into year 7, his year 6 end of year performances, he was like really confident, and in a way that kind of shocked me as a parent. Like, didn't they have that in you? And I think not all of it, it's down to him and his tenacity, but I think part of it is being able to come to these environments and build those social skills as well. And that's been like fundamental for him. So
And they make friendships, don't they, outside of their school environment, outside of the area that they live. You know, people that they may never come across.
Otherwise, I mean, it would, just as an aside, we and I say me as well, because I've been dragged into doing taekwondo with my daughter. She started it, and so there's me in my late 40s and all kids of my height, I will admit, who are all sort of, I love it, I absolutely love it, and it's children of different abilities, but we absolutely love it. And you know, at first I thought, well, I'm going to rip my thigh muscle the moment I try and throw a kick. That hasn't happened yet.
Good.
But it's but it is that sort of thing, and that cohesion of meeting different ages, genders, races. It's really important, and it should be really important. You know, I mean, sorry, I'm soapbox now. I'm off on one. No, you know, see, I grew up in a very rural part of Lincolnshire where the nearest village was 2 miles away, and I don't think that helps you at all. Not at all. And then you go to the school, and it's an all-boys school for a start, and then it's all, I'll be honest, white as well, and now it's a much more richer tapestry to the city. Do you know what I mean? Let me put that back a minute. Community cohesion in Peterborough. How do you think it is between different community groups? You mentioned obviously within the Afro-Caribbean community. What about within and without groups as well? Is everyone getting on all right, do you think? Because you guys must see.
I'd like to think so. I can't say I've got my finger on the pulse as much as I used to, but when I was a teenager, I was involved in community cohesion projects between the Asian, white, Afro-Caribbean community, because at that point there were genuine problems in the city going on. And I don't think I've seen that reported on. But then again, Peterborough's always been a hub for different communities. So in the time I was a teenager up until now, like 2 decades ago, now we've got a significantly larger African community. We've got a significantly larger Indian community. There's lots of other different groups that come in here. So I'm always aware that there's probably pockets of issues that are going on that I'm blind to.
In every town, every city, across the world. You know,
But I think schools are a lot more diverse now. Certainly than when I was at school. I think I was the only mixed race child at the school, and there was another African boy, and that was it. Whereas you go to that same school now, it's so much more diverse. So then when you're growing up around that diversity, I don't think you see it as much.
No.
My secondary school was really diverse. So then I had friendship groups from all different walks of life. And I think that provides a solid foundation when you go into your adulthood, because then I think the tensions or whatever are less because you've grown up with the exposure to different cultures.
But I think whether that's because I'm dual heritage as well, and you see what's going on politically in the climate in the UK about I don't know how real it is or not, but the rise of the far right and stuff like this. I think it is important for us to have events like Carnival and almost like extend the olive branch back. Be like, you are white, you are from Peterborough, and we also want you to be included just as much as the olive branch was extended to my grandmother and my parents when they moved to the city. So I think it is important to have those in-person events because it breaks those barriers down. It's like there doesn't need to be those barriers there. Yeah.
I think last year we had people from all communities.
Well, my daughter's white, obviously, so it's. We'd have not even thought about, about why she would be involved or why she wouldn't be. Of course, she just wants to dance and take part and have fun. So
there's like unifying factors, right? So music is a unifier, dancing is, food is. So these are the things that cross all cultural boundaries. It's just saying, no, you're welcome. It's going out of your way to say you're welcome rather than, because I don't know, I've been to other festivals and felt like, I don't know if this is for me. And sometimes it does take someone from that group to say, no, please get involved. Like, this is here so we can share this culture with you. It's not so we can make you feel isolated. It's so we can
to celebrate the richness of that particular culture.
Yeah. So we're about a month out from it. Have you all prepped? Everything ready? Is it?
Not completely.
Thanks for that. Thanks. I wasn't sweating before. No. I think we will be preparing right up until half an hour before. No. So literally the day before, as you mentioned at the beginning, we will be in this building working on costumes. But that's part of the process anyway. In terms of the hard things, the security, the health and safety, that's been sorted months ago, thank God. But there's still other bits that are maybe a bit more fluid. Performers, we've got our DJs locked in. Performers, it's things more in terms of like running order and stuff like that. But
children still doing their rehearsals.
but I'm happy to. I think we are in a better place. We would you would say inevitably we would be, because this is our second time doing it. But I feel much more confident that we're in a better place this year than we were last year. We've got a better plumb line of where we're working from as well.
I think as well we started it earlier in terms of the prep work as well.
You knew you probably should.
Yeah,
Sorry, just putting words in your mouth there.
It was true.
You know, should have thought about this ahead of time. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, right?
You don't. And speaking about what you don't know, I mean, the presumption is then that this is going to become. I know we mentioned it, an annual event. Is there anything you've thought of that you would like to see in the future and future years? Things you would like to add? And
from my perspective, again, talking about going to different carnivals, I'd love it to be like somewhere like Central Park, where you've got that space where people can bring a picnic blanket, some chairs, and just chill out, listen to the music, mix with each other, just enjoy the vibe. I'd love that, because that's how other carnivals are. Obviously not in hills on the street, but that's just a different carnival in comparison to every other carnival. But that's just, the atmosphere there is amazing as well. So I think I'd like it to just be have a parade to go and then go to some sort of green space. I think
so. I would definitely agree with that. I think hopefully we're speaking this into existence. But I think City Park could be.
Is that something have you made any sort of tentative thoughts about how it would work and how you would do that, or how you would get in touch with, or are you just going to wait until this one's
I think you always have ideas, right? And until we're over that hump, until the 30th, then I think we'll start saying, right, this is how we would go about it. The biggest thing for me that I want to see from the future of the carnival, though, is other people coming in and feeling like they can make it their own. You're almost like the perfect example of someone that got involved last year and then has just kind of bloomed from then and then.
How did you get involved?
So it was actually during COVID. I think I followed the page on Instagram, and then I think Precious and the group, everyone from the group, were just talking about things they were sharing. And I thought, oh, I'd quite like this for my children. And I think I followed it for quite a while. And then for the carnival, I saw that they were asking for volunteers.
Right.
So I just signed up and said, yeah, love to. And then when I come here, she was like, well, what would you like to do? And I was like, my background safeguarding. So I don't know, lost child stand or anything like that, kind of speaking to people.
That's really important.
And then that's what I got put on as almost like the Culture Community stand, I think it was, and really enjoyed it. It was such a nice atmosphere. And like my daughter come with me, she kind of was with me the whole day, and she loved it. And she's like, Mummy, this is amazing. And then she saw the dancers on stage, and she's like, Mummy, I want to do that next year. And I was like, do you know what? Just that 12-hour pocket with that window, she was like, Mummy, I love this. And I was like, she could be exposed to so much more. So then I said to Precious on the day, oh, I'd really like to be involved. And she's like, oh no, great, and kind of left it at that. And then I was like, I'm just going to message her again. And I messaged her, I was like, Precious, you know what I said? I was being serious. I wasn't just saying it. I want to be involved. And then I think it was maybe the September, October after Carnival. And then she said, yep, kind of we spoke about it, and then was on board, and then been doing stuff ever since. And I've absolutely loved it.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. And I presume people, if they want to still get in touch, they can still help out, even if it's not for this year, next year, or whatever.
But even just our normal Saturday sessions, we've just had a new volunteer sign up after off the back of her witnessing the costume making workshop. She was just like, again, similar to me, love this, love what they're doing here, and I was like, yeah, I want to sign up, and she signed up on the day. So then now we've got another volunteer moving forward.
Okay, great. So I usually conclude this podcast with the same question, and you have 60 seconds to say why Peterborough is a great place to work, live and play. 60 seconds each.
Shaun's better to start with this. He's more succinct than me.
Peterborough is amazing because of the people that live here. I think Peterborough is full of talent, it's full of life, full of people that are inspiring, are intelligent, funny. I think we just don't get the right press. So thank you for you giving a platform for people to come in and showcase the positive side of Peterborough. I think we've got a lot of history here, whether that's in communities, in our buildings, and we have a lot still left to offer. I think Peterborough for a long time has been the place that's full of more potential that we've not quite reached yet. And I just see that as an opportunity and something to be hopeful and optimistic about. So yeah, that's what I think about Peterborough.
Great. Anything to add?
I would probably agree with Shaun. I think it's a great place. We've got so many talented people in here. I think just looking at the talent that's come out of Peterborough already in the last 20 years is amazing. And I think we just need to get the spotlight on Peterborough and keep shining the light on all the talented children that we've got in the next generation.
Okay, great. And just finally, where can people find out more about the carnival, the social media, website? What's the website address?
So we've got our Instagram page, probably the best thing for the carnival, because we post regular. So that's Culture Community Carnival on Instagram. And then we've obviously got the website, which is Culture Community CIC. They can just go on that, and then it will link them into the Instagram page and the Facebook page, and everything's on there.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you. Much appreciated.